Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar looking at Qlik for local government. We're going to be focusing on unlocking insights with self-serve visualizations. My name is Andrew Dinnan. I'm a solutions architect at focusing in the data and analytics sphere. I'm going to start off with a fact, or a quote, I should say. In 2025, the estimate will be that there'll be almost 5,000 daily data-driven interactions per person within the UK, which is up from 300 in 2017. So the idea I want to get across with this is really the volume of data, the growth of data, and actually the number of data points we've got to start considering when we look to make data-driven actions and decisions within our business. And really to question across of, if data has grown this exponentially and we honestly have this much data to start considering, what tooling, how do we start to cope with that amount of data, that volume of data, then many different data points? How do we start to consider that within our organizations to keep making meaningful data-based decisions? So throughout today's webinar, I'm going to focus on local authorities we've been working with recently of Calderdale Council. Now, Calderdale Council first approached us back in July 2016. When they approached us, they'd already been using Qlik for over 12 months, and they'd experienced good results. They already overcome some of the manual data problems within their organization. They'd already overcome some of the manual data automation, which a tool like Qlik can benefit from. The insights being generated from that data were being used for good, informed data decision. But they wanted to evolve that, and they wanted to take that to the next step, and they really wanted to do more within their organization. And they came to Perfect Image with the question of, how do we do that? We have some problems within our organization. View as good of a product as it is, isn't quite really meeting for us. And they wanted to make better published performance data, which was easy for the general public to understand. All the data they publicized about themselves, they wanted to be consumed by the general public in an easy and understandable format, of which the general public could actually make insights about their council from an informed data platform. They actually wanted to improve the platform and the data analytics they actually produced to their general public, and really increase the transparency about the data the council had. They wanted to train their team to be self-service reporting. They didn't want it to be a case of, we need a lot of developers, we need a lot of teams. There need to be a big, heavy process, which really slows down time to insight. We really need to speed that up. But we need to be very mindful of, when we want to try and be more flexible in an organization and really give the fingertips of the analysts, we need to understand how we can govern that. And we need to keep a close control upon the data which exists within our organization. So Calderdale went and introduced a new Qlik solution within their business. And I really want to get these two figures across before we go into actually what the software is and what it does. Calderdale Council were actually able to improve productivity internally and increase transparency. Now, what they were able to do at the same time was actually reduce the cost of reporting from almost £15,500 to just short of £3,000. Now, they introduced a cost saving of 82% within their organization. They also managed to reduce the time it took them to produce this report and the data analytics within their organization by 81.5%. They went from taking 65 hours a week reporting to just 12. Now, the important thing to get about that is that was actually freeing up 81% of someone's time to actually perform analysis on the data, understand the data, drive action within the business on the data, rather than just actually manually churning the data, getting the data ready to report, actually to make business benefits within the 81.5% of the hours they were sparing every week. Now, how did they do that? As I've already mentioned, they already had Qlik. They wanted to take that next step, and really for them, the next step was going into Qlik Sense, which really set the benchmark for the third generation analytics across the industry. It supports a full range of users and use case across the cycle of data, from data to insight, which is exactly what I mentioned earlier on. They needed to go from data to insight, and they needed to do that quickly. They needed to get the insights where they could make a change in their business today. It was no good having the answers a month down the line of saying, now and then, so they can make a significant change within their organization. Some of the benefits we'll see within Qlik Sense is actually the fact it augments, enhances that human intuition within the program, within the software, to actually allow you as a user to get more out of it. I'll leave that as that is for now, and we'll touch upon that much more later on. And it does this, which is important, in a governed fashion across a large architecture, which is ready for scale, it's ready for large, it's ready for your organization, and it can do that within a governed fashion. One of the main differences with Qlik across different BI tools in the industry is actually the associative difference. And this is something we'll see in demo quite soon. But actually what you might be quite used to within more of a query-based tool historically is that partial subset of data, that hierarchical approach there, where you see you start from the top, you have to ask a question to get to the next level, you have to ask another question to get down to the next level. And it is that slow approach of ask, wait, and answer cycle. And you've got to ask the right questions in that linear exploration fashion in order to get right down to the detail. Whereas what's so unique about Qlik is we turn that on its head and we say, no, you can have access to all of your data with the speed of thought. You can uncover unexpected insights, because you can ask your questions in any order, in any fashion, to get the answer to the question you need to know today, right now. As a whole, what Qlik actually provides across your organization is a platform which allows you to have analytics for all. We've already mentioned there that there's a difference. It allows you to choose between self-serve analytics or centralized analytics. Maybe actually you just need to present some data back to the organization, they just need to consume that. Absolutely fine. Maybe you want to empower your organization a little bit more to actually go that extra step and start to ask additional questions within your information. It's built from the ability and collaboration. So again, working across the enterprise, working within teams, maybe it's a small group of individuals, or whether it's a large function across the globe. It is allowing for that collaboration and sharing throughout the product. I'm going to leave the rest of the points on there for now, as we'll get through some of them within a demo. As I've already mentioned, the power of Qlik for you within your organization today, that possibility of uncovering new data-driven insights. It's gone from that generic term of a data intelligence pond of, we have bits of data everywhere, you've got to understand what this system does to get any insight out of it, to actually connecting all of the data sources together, all of the ideas, all of the people into one data-driven possibility, into one centralized repository, one central location, one centralized business intelligence tool, to actually enable us to have an endless sea of data-driven possibilities. One of the quotes I wanted to include was from a Qlik presentation I saw not so long ago. And I think this is a really powerful message if we were to go back to the organization and say, what is Qlik? What can it do for us? Now, Qlik say they have one simple belief. They say that the more people who use analytics, the more value people get from analytics. Business intelligence is only optimized when you harness the collective human intelligence across an organization. So this means that actually when we have our data from our data sources, actually it takes that human interaction to actually understand that and actually say, this is what this data means to add value back to the business. However, Qlik actually accelerates you within that process, allows you to be more agile, and again, go back to the able to make more data-driven decisions within your organization, which really allows you to take advantage of new possibilities areas within your organization today. So I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of some of the Qlik platform Now, the Qlik stack, as you'll see on screen, has a lot of different moving parts. However, we're going to call upon a few of these and obviously show you how this met some of the use cases we presented earlier with Colville Council. Now, one of the things I should mention earlier on, if you do have any questions along the way, feel free to reach out into our Q&A box. We'll circle back around to any questions at the end. Please feel free to ask questions as we go. Alternatively, we can circle back around after today's webinar and if you want to have a more in-depth discussion about anything. So, if I just quickly drop into a quick demonstration of Qlik, you'll notice on screen at the minute, what I've got is just a very high level introduction to actually how Qlik works. And this goes back to this associative difference. And I really want to get this across before we dive more into Qlik. What you'll notice is on the far right hand side is we've got some population data. Total population of the UK just sitting under 60 million there. And then obviously we've got actually that broken down by location. This is some out-of-date data, but hopefully it serves the point. Now in the middle of the screen, you'll actually see three separate lists. We've actually got some geography classifications here. So we've got county, London Borough, for example. We've actually got the name of said counties or London boroughs within there. And obviously we also have some genders there of male or female of said population. Now, how you want to ask a question within Qlik is very, very easy. The minute you have a question, you just simply click on that, what that question may be. So maybe I'm interested in knowing what is my population of London boroughs. All I need to do is click on that. And what you'll notice there is the question I've asked of my data has actually gone into green. So green is the question I've asked of my data. Now, what you'll actually notice is, if I was to scroll down this name list for a minute, actually, we've now got a split of data within this list. We've actually got data which is being returned within white and data which is being returned in dark grey. Now, the data within white there is actually the associated data, i.e. the answer to my question. So all of the above here in white are actually London boroughs. And then within dark grey there, we've actually got the non-associated data, i.e. not the answer. So quite rightly, Blackpool is not a London borough, which is being returned in dark grey. Now, this is really, really important and really key because it means actually I never lose insight. I never lose sight of any of my data. It's always there in plain view. And actually, I can derive more insight from this simple color coding method I can from historical query-based tools where actually all that data in dark grey would have just been lost. Now, what you might have noticed is actually on the far right-hand side there is actually my visualizations have actually changed. They've actually updated to give me the result of my question. So actually within the London borough there, we've got a total population of just under 9 million. And then actually our bar chart there is now showing me just London boroughs. Now imagine if I wanted to pick this up a little bit more. So maybe if I was actually just interested in Camden, Croydon and Ealing, again, to ask that next level of question, all I need to do is simply click. What you'll notice is instantly, everything has updated. And this is one of the great benefits you'll always see within Qlik throughout this demonstration. I have a question, the minute I click on that question to ask it, I get that answer instantly. I don't have to wait. I'm not waiting for any queries to run in the background. I instantly get this response. And this doesn't matter whether we're looking at this demonstration data set we're looking at today, whether we're looking at the data in your organization in practice, or whatever the case may be, we should always come to expect this instant sub-second response to our questions within Qlik. Now, what you'll notice quite importantly across the top is we never actually lose insight to what question we've asked. So you'll notice there, we've said London Borough, and you'll notice underneath this actually gives us this green bar, which says, okay, you've roughly selected maybe around 20% of the total population of the London Borough of the geography. And then again, within the name, you'll notice there, it's actually telling me you've selected 3 of 100 possible combinations, possible counties you could have had within this location. Now, if at any point you want to change your mind, you want to change the question you're asking of this data, you just simply need to clear the selection across the top, and you'll notice our data set flexes back to showing us that full data set. Now, in this instance where I selected a geography, then I selected a name, again, one of the things we're saying about the associative difference is I don't have to ask this within any particular order. Maybe I'm just interested in the population of females. Maybe I'm interested in the population of females within Blackpool. And again, everything flexes and I get this answer in real time. Again, across the top, we get this question we've asked at any point. Maybe I want to change my question. Maybe I'm not just interested in females anymore. Maybe I just want to know the entire population of Blackpool. And again, everything flexes within there. One of the key things not to miss within this as well is it's not just these list boxes on the left-hand side I can interact with. Maybe we want to have a look at some of the counties, some of the locations in the visual bar chart. Again, if I was interested in a question, all I need to do is click to ask that question. And again, you'll notice everything flexes within real time to update. I get my question instantly. If I want to ask further questions, I so can do, and off I go to enrich my experience. Now, I'm going to leave that as the demo for the associative difference, and hopefully this will make more sense when we look through a bit more of a traditional dashboard. So what I've done this time is I've went and actually downloaded some budget data Calderdale Council actually make publicly accessible, which I'll show you where that's from in a minute. Now, what I have actually done is made some fake spend data just to obviously get the visual across to you today. But again, what we'll notice here is we've got budgets, we've got actual spend, we've got some visualizations around this. Again, we've got some filters down the left-hand side. But again, maybe I just want to ask a question of some. Let's just interact with this bar chart again by that click and drag effect. I can ask a question of this data, and again, everything flexes within real time. Again, across the top, you notice we've got the sense of context. It's saying, okay, well, you're currently looking at 16 services of a possible 47. If at any point I wanted to change my mind, I could just expand that list. And maybe if I say, okay, well, I wasn't interested in education, but I am interested in ITC services, for example, I can just go ahead and change my mind from this top question. Again, you'll notice there, everything flexes. Now, one of the things we said earlier on about Qlik was the benefit of having this analytics wherever we were on the go. At the moment, I'm presenting this from a laptop in Perfect Images Office, and obviously we get the information we need through this web browser. Now, it doesn't matter if I was out of the office on a client site, maybe I was waking up first thing in the morning on a mobile phone, I needed to know some of this insight. Maybe I needed some of this analytics at my fingertips to actually say, what am I going to do today? Well, one of the great things about Qlik Sense is it's actually fully responsive. So if I was maybe just drop this browser down to maybe the size of a tablet, what you'll actually notice is actually everything flexes to the best possible screen real estate I've got made available to me. I don't lose any sense of functionality. And then again, maybe if I was to drop this down to maybe a phone size, again, actually everything just flexes to the best possible screen real estate. Again, I don't lose any sense of functionality and come in here and say, okay, I'm only interested in certain spend types. And as I pop back out, and actually let's make this full screen again. Again, everything just flexes to the best possible screen real estate. It is that developer's mentality of build it once, use it across multiple platforms. So let's change this question a little bit more. Maybe if I just want to focus data for the most recent year. Actually, what we can see there is we're slightly over budget overall from these selected services. Within this view, though, I can only actually see the services which have actually spent. I can't see what their budget was. At the minute, I'm lacking that information of understanding what service is actually over budget. Now, what we've got within this dashboard is actually a set of a few different sheets, a few different views. And really, this dashboard's being built in the way I can come in, ask a very high level question, but get down into the detail very, very quick. So using the left and right arrows in the top right hand corner, what I'm going to do is navigate to my next sheet, which is actually giving me that next level of analysis. Now, what's very important to understand here and not miss is, again, in the top left hand corner across the selections ribbon, it's actually retained that question I've asked. So as this very high level sheet, I've got to a point where I've got a question. Now I need to know something more. Actually, I can do that very, very quickly by just going to my next sheet. And this question I've asked, this context I've given the dashboard is retained with me throughout my story. So actually now having a look at this bar chart across the bottom of the dashboard, if I was just to make this full screen, This time I've actually got a visualization which actually shows me of my actual spend against budget. So actually I can actually see there's actually 1 or 2 different services which have actually spent over their budget. So again, I maybe just focus on these a little bit more and select these to understand this question a little bit more. Maybe if I wanted to go back to looking at my full services, I can just hit the back button, which actually takes me back to the selection I had earlier. Again, we can start calling out some more facts within here. So actually we can start to look at variances. Maybe we want to understand where is that spend type. Okay, well, budget overall, how does this look just for employee cost? Well, actually for employee cost, we're actually £47,000 under budget at the minute. We've still got some more budget to spend. Maybe we want to understand, okay, well, what are them services? Maybe what we want to do is actually have a look at the top services there with the highest spend to actually understand how they're getting on. Again, it's this click and drag and drop mentality. I can just click and interact with all of these visualizations to get the question I'm after at the speed of thought. Again, confirm that selection. I'm now just looking at this question I was asking. Maybe I want to go one step further, and maybe I want to get into the individual details within here. What I start to do is understand the tabular data within here and actually see, okay, well, actually, what was it for each cost line item? What was the actual budget and spend? Maybe at this point, again, maybe we just wanted to understand a few different cost centers. Great. This is the problem. This is what I need to fix. Right click, and actually I can choose to export this data. Now, maybe I want to export this data out of Qlik and I want to put it into a CSV file or a PDF or an image. Again, as an end user, I can actually control what my end users have access to do at this point. Maybe I don't trust some users to export the raw data from the system. I want to keep it within Qlik. I want to keep it governed, and I want to keep control over that. Now, if I was just to go back to my front screen and clear all my selections, this is a great dashboard. It's actually showing you the benefits of Qlik and how easy it is to actually start interacting with this data. Now, the first time I was to ever show this dashboard to anyone who's never seen Qlik before, their first question is always, this is great, but how much work has been involved to get to this point? And it's not a lot. We can go from data to insight very quick, and that's really what I want to show you today. So if I just drop into my QlikSense Hub, I'm going to go ahead and create a browser. I'm just going to call this new app. As I drop into this for the very first time, what it's going to tell me is, well, hang on, before you can visualize anything, bring some data in. We need data to make sense of before we can visualize, which is absolutely makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and press some data add some data from a source. The first thing it's going to do is show me a sub-selection of some of the data sources have available to us within Qlik. There are a lot more other web connectors available, but I'm just going to go pick up some flat files from my desktop if I can find them very quickly. So actually what I've got is I want to go ahead and bring some budget data in. So as I go ahead and bring this budget data in from my Excel file, what it actually shows me here is a nice little preview of my data. So you'll notice we've got budget line ID, service, cost center, spend types. Maybe we wanted to rename some of these. So maybe instead of service, I want to call that service name. That's all I need to do for now. I could go ahead and filter some of this data out. So maybe I'm only interested in the most recent years. Maybe I'm only interested in employee costs, or whatever the case may be. I could do that at this point. But if I go ahead and press add data, the first thing it's going to do is actually load the data within Qlik. And now it's loaded that data in, it's gone, hang on, we think we could help you find some insights from this data. So if I just press generate insights, what Qlik has actually gone away and done is actually found some interesting facts within my data and gone, these are some of the things you should start realizing and start looking at straight away. So actually it's given me my average budget by budget line. Now that's not 100% where I want it to be. Maybe I want average budget by service. So actually if I was just to expand this out, maybe let's change my dimension from budget line to service name. Actually, this is what I'm now looking at. I've got that average budget within there. Great. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my sheet. Now, when I come out of this, one of the great things which you might miss here is actually what it says. You've made a change to this chart. Insight Advisor can learn from this change. So what this is actually doing is saying, when I load data into QlikSense for the first ever time, It's gone away, it's profiled my data, it's actually looked at the context of my data, and using that AI cognitive engine in the background, it's gone, we can start highlighting some interesting facts of your data you should start looking at. Now, I've made a modification to one of the suggested insights here and said, I'm more interested in service than I am budget line ID. And Qlik has gone, okay, I can learn from that. I can learn my AI in the background. So next time you load some data in, or next time you ask for some suggestions, I can provide you better suggestions for what you're interested in. So if I press this learn button, Qlik Sense has now took that change I've made and actually gone and added value in the background to actually the cognitive AI engine it now presents to me as a user. So maybe now I'm interested in this average budget by view as well, this distribution graph, great, I add a chart. Let's drop out of Insights Advisor, and straight away you'll notice we've got quite a very simple dashboard. Now, I've been able to create this very simple dashboard in the space of 30 seconds. I've been able to go from that data to insight very, very quickly. In terms of being able to make selections within one chart and everything else flexes, you might be asking, okay, how do I now set that up? How do I now set up the relationships in the background? Which means when I look at service on one chart, it just shows me them services in the other chart. The answer is that Qlik associative engine. It does that by itself within the background. So again, when I make some selections of these services, maybe if I just want to select one here, you'll notice all of my data within there flex. And again, there's no hard work, there's no coding, there's no developer resource needed to make all this work. It just works as it's all underpinned by the Qlik associative engine. Now, this is all good and it tells me what my budget is and where my budget is. It's not very useful until I know what I've actually spent against this budget. So if I was to drop back into data, and you'll notice there we've got one bubble there, we've got one data table in there for budget information. Okay, well, I want to go and add some more data there. So I'm going to go ahead and press this nice big add button. Again, where do you want to add this data from? Again, I'm just going to go add it from an Excel sheet for now. But this time you'll notice I've got a 2-column data set, which is actually budget line ID and actual spend. So if I now go and add this data in, what you'll actually notice now is we've actually got 2 separate bubbles here. We've got 2 different sets of data. Now, what I need Qlik to do is actually recognize there's a relationship between the 2. How do I set that up? Actually, on the far right-hand side, you'll notice it's actually been smart enough to work out there's a common key within both tables. So maybe I just want to preview how that would look. There we go. So it's actually made an association between the 2 different data sets. Now, within this example, it's actually telling me, okay, you've got budget line ID in both fields. This is what you want to do. Maybe if you wanted to customize it, I'd go ahead and customize that and actually set what that is. But I'm happy. Qlik's done its job. I'm going to go hit apply all, and now I'm going to go hit load data. Now, what it's doing at this point is actually gone and loaded the data in from that sheet again. And now I can go ahead and actually build out some of these visualizations myself. However, if I want to drop back into Insights for a minute and say, generate me some more insights, this time what you'll actually notice is it's given me a whole range of new insights. And actually this time it's been smart enough to learn that there's actually some information in here which is complementary. So actually maybe we want to compare actual spend, budget spend. Yes, I do. So I now add this to my sheet. If I was to drop back to my dashboard viewer here, again, now we've got a new visualization which takes both metrics in play. And again, I can start to interact with this and everything just works and flexes. Maybe if I want to build this up one step further and I know I want to have a look at actual spend by service by year, for example. Well, actually, if I was just to press edit, and if I was to come into the fields for a minute, maybe if I want to drop on actual spend. Now, what it's done here is says, hang on, you've just dropped something on. We can use that cognitive engine to actually tell you how this information is best displayed within your dashboard. So I've only dropped one bit of information on. It's gone, you should just display this as a number, as a KPI of which it's done. And at which point, if I was to press done, again, if I was to interact with some of my visualizations, again, this was updated. To go back and edit, and actually let's enrich this a little bit more. Maybe I want to understand this by spend type. If I was just to drag and drop spend type on there, what it's actually done now is gone, okay, well, based upon the information you've given and presented to me, I can actually give you the most meaningful visualization where you can draw the best from this data. Now, again, if I wanted to take this one step further and maybe I wanted to drag year in there, at this point it's going to go, okay, well, actually, the best way to get around this information due to the complexity of it is through the use of a tabular table. But again, if I was to press done on this, I can start interacting with this, and again, everything flexes across my dashboard. Now, where I'm viewing this within a dashboard, one of the ways Calderdale Council used this was to actually, again, going back to that use case earlier on of actually, we present this to our public in a meaningful way and an easy way for them to actually, is they've actually done this by presenting Qlik through their data work portal. So if I go ahead and actually, let's just refresh this web page because I've left it open for a little while. What you'll actually notice is this is just a open data Calderdale website, which is actually available for you guys to go and have a look on. And I suggest you go and have a little play around with this. Actually, they've got a series of reports and analytical insights they're surfacing to the residents within their council. Maybe let's have a look at council budgets. Similar theme to what we've been just looking at. But actually what they've been able to do is actually embed this visualization into their application, into their website for their residents to come and have a little look and be more transparent with the data they have within their organization to the general public. But again, maybe if I was if I lived in Calderdale, I would want to come in and say, okay, let's have a look for the most recent year and have a look at where this budget is spent across the council. Maybe I want to understand what this is by service. So maybe let's have a pick on a couple of services within here. Maybe we then want to change this to cost center within there, and I can see actually what percentage of my tax and my spend has actually gone on waste management, for example. Again, as we were to scroll down this, maybe if we just want to open some of these services up, there's a range of different visualizations within here, which again is easy to consume and start understanding data from. If I was to actually just quickly jump back into my pre-made dashboard, there's a few other little technical things I just want to start showing you guys as well. If any point where we're looking at this data and I say, okay, maybe I want to question of the data, maybe I can't quite see the information on the screen. Actually using the global search, what I can actually start doing is start asking that question of my data. So you'll notice there within the global search, what I've actually started to ask of my question of AD. Now, what you'll notice there in that black ribbon is almost like a Google auto-suggest. Okay, well, on the data, based upon the data in this dashboard, I think you might mean adult administrator. I mean adults, great. Let's have a look at that. And then actually, now what it's doing is actually showing me the different areas within my data the word adult actually turns up. Right, well, I can tell you I was actually interested on the service of adult and social care. If I press on that, what that's actually done is gone and made that selection within my dashboard, and now I'm having a look at just adult health and social care. Maybe we want to pick this up one step further and let's have a look at adult. Maybe let's start having a look at employee. Now, what's interesting here is what you might notice is adults actually underlined in yellow. The start of employee is actually underlined in blue. Because actually at the speed I was typing, Qlik's actually gone away, looked at my data and gone, in your data where adult and employee returns the same thing. You're actually looking for two different search terms here. Well, actually what I was interested in was employee, because I was interested in the employee costs. There we go. I'm actually interested in this top result here, which is actually the employee costs in adult and social care. Now I can hit select on that, and actually takes me to that point in my dashboard where I actually start asking questions of this data. I'm going to leave it there in terms of the demonstration of the Qlik software. It's really key to stress that there's so many more features within this software we haven't had time to touch upon today. So this is 10% of what this platform can do within your organizations today. If you want to learn a little bit more and go into more depth of the product, then feel free to reach out after. You will all receive a follow-up email after the webinar today where you have the ability to request free consultation with someone like myself, where we can sit down, discuss the pain points within your organization and see how we can actually help you overcome them together. I just wanted to start to finish off by actually including a quote from Paul Swallow, who's actually the lead business intelligence officer at Calderdale Council. And there's a few key words within this quote we wanted to call upon. We're starting to put useful and meaningful information out into the open data area. Using Qlik, they actually managed to turn their data into something useful and meaningful where people could actually start to draw conclusions from, start making database decisions, and actually change the way they're working based upon the data out of the dashboards and the tooling we've seen today. And the last word there is, I just want to call upon the very last word, successful. The implementation of the software within this organization has been very successful. You'll see something else in there. It was very ambitious. What they thought they wanted to achieve, they thought they were 10 years off. But actually, Qlik, through the use of Work with Perfect Image, they've been actually make a positive and successful impact within their organization today. We mentioned a couple of the benefits Qlik has had within Calderdale Council, largely around that improved efficiency. Again, just to highlight some of them, they went from 65 hours a week reporting to just 12. They went down by about 85% of their costs, from almost £16,000 to just under 3. They increased the transparency they had within their public by actually using Qlik within their web-based platform to promote collaboration and pinpoint areas that require improvement. Self-sufficiency a bit within there as well. Some of the self-serve capabilities we've touched upon very lightly today within Qlik Sense, that cognitive engine where Qlik actually helps the end user and say, this is some of the data you should be interested on. But as soon as a user presents feedback to Qlik goes, I can learn from that. I can be smarter and help you within your journey going forward. The full Calderdale case study is available on our website. I urge every one of you to go and actually read a little bit more about the case study and understand the work we've had with Calderdale Council. We actually hold a Qlik specialisation within government. We are also a Qlik partner, one of a few within the country. And again, we specialise and have been recognised by Qlik within the area of government and local government. I urge you all to, again, go and have a play with this software from our Qlik Sense desktop version of the software, which is free to go and use today. Give this a try on your own data. Try and draw insights and get useful information now today on this software on your desktop. There will also be a follow-up link sent in the follow-up email, which has the download location for your ease within there again. A little bit about Perfect Images to finish off. What we've seen today is very much covering that far left-hand box there around the data and analytics world. However, we are a full IT solutions provider, so please reach out if you want to talk to us around anything from cloud infrastructure to on-premise infrastructure to business applications or anything in the world of data analytics. We can help with all aspects of your organization. Again, I'll leave the contact details on the screen for you to take note. Feel free to get in touch. Really, please do reach out for that free consultation, and we can start talking to you today about how to overcome problems within your organization. I haven't seen any questions pop up at the minute, but should any come through, should you have anything after the event, again, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help. Thank you all for attending this webinar this afternoon. Thank you.